Hello. All right. So, this is Orion, and I'm pretty excited to be able to join you here doing a not actually too overpriced Return to Ravnica pre-release draft. This set is pretty awesome so far. I've been having a good time drafting it in person. I haven't been playing on Magic Online too much lately, but trying to get back into it. So, here we've got really only two cards. I mean, really only one card. This card, Mercurial Chemister, is pretty much just a bomb. There's really no other way to put it. Controls the board. It pulls you way ahead on cards. If you ever untap with this guy, it's pretty hard to lose the game. And then the other card is Azorius Justicar, which is the white uncommon over there. It's good. Detains two guys when it comes to play. Pretty big tempo swing, but even though I actually am not a huge fan of Izzet, this guy's like pretty splashable and pretty good in general. This pack is also pretty sweet. We've got Augur Spree as a removal spell. We've got Skymark Rock, which is a 3/3 flyer, bounces a guy whenever you attack with it. Just is a solid card in general. Stab Wound is also good, but Mercurial Chemister leans itself more towards a control deck. Stab Wound leans itself more towards a aggro deck. So I would definitely rather have Augur Spree if I was going to take Stab Wound, given that it looks like I'm going to be at least splashing red already. So the pick is really between Augur Spree and Skymark Rock, which is it's actually pretty close. This is a better card, but I would rather be Grixis if I had Mercurial Chemister. I think I'm actually going to just take the removal spell here. I understand that Skymark Rock is a better card than Augur Spree overall. So it looks like we have chosen incorrectly in this spot. Well, I'm not going to push my luck too badly here. There is a Goblin Electromancer, which is usually pretty good in this like Grixis archetype because he makes cards like this. Like this costs 2. There's like Thought Flare, Inspiration, which actually become playable cards. Or Thought Flare is good anyway, but Inspiration becomes a lot better once you have a Goblin Electromancer or 2 in your deck. But Lee of Sky Knight is just very, very powerful. Obviously, since I'm taking this, I wish I had taken the Skymark Rock last pack, but that's fine. And the thing is that like right now it looks like we're going to be either like some 2 colors splashing some 2 other colors, which is actually something that I haven't minded too much so far in the format. Of course, now we have a green-black Guildgate, which is we would love some fixing, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. We could take just like a Vassal Soul, which is just a 2/2 flyer for hybrid blue-white. Move more in the direction of like blue-white flyers splashing red. We could take, I guess, Sewer Shambler, but that card's pretty mediocre. Aqua Steed is actually a card I haven't been too unhappy with in like the wall kind of decks, wall control decks. But it's really slow. I mean, this pack kind of isn't very good in general. I think I'm going to take Vassal Soul just because it's the best card in the pack. I think, Golgari Guildgate is the best card in the pack, but I don't think that it's really like what we're looking for here. Here there's like Stealer of Secrets, Chemister's Trick, Azorius Guildgate, and Bluster Squall. Cancel is fine. Runewing is like okay, but all those other cards are better than either Cancel or Guildgate, or Runewing. Here, I think Azorius Guildgate versus Bluster Squall are really the only ones I would consider taking. Bluster Squall is really good in case the game drags out a little bit. It gives you like an I win condition, but this card, Chemister's Trick, does something pretty similar, and it's like this is a card that tends to go a little bit later. So I'm just going to take the Guildgate. I think that we're looking like we're going to maybe be in multiple colors here. So here it's between Dramatic Rescue and Skyline Predator. This is pretty close. This bounce spell is really good. It's really good against the Rakdos decks, keeping you in the game. But this card is just like a pretty good threat. It's like a card that people will still attack into because they don't play around it as much. I'm not really sure which is correct. I'm going to take the Dramatic Rescue just because there are 2 good 6-drop flyers. There's like the Liev Sky Knight and the Skyline Predator, which are both good. I think Skyline Predator is a little bit better, but we already have like a pretty good late game in this Mercurial Chemister. So here we have Second Vassal Soul, or Is It Guildgate, or Asperia Skywatch. Concordia Pegasus, Crosstown Courier are all good, but not too exciting. I think I'm just going to take the Guildgate here. I mean, it's like, we're looking like we're going to be blue, white, red. And, yeah. Not too worried about it. Here, Towering Indrik and Karazda Monitor are both quite late. I don't necessarily think we want to just move into 5-color, though. Especially not when there's a Vassal Soul here. Again, I think Runewing is pretty underwhelming, actually. In my experience, it's just been like a pretty okay card. It's very overcosted just for a 2/2. And drawing a card when it dies is like fine, but not that exciting. Here we've got Selesnya Sentry, Downsize, which is actually okay, but not super exciting, and Sundering Growth for the sideboard. This card's a little worse for us because we're not going to be populating. I think it's really between the Selesnya Sentry, but we already have like 3 drops. Probably going to hide this Augur Spree. I don't usually love being the blue-white Flyers deck. I'm just going to take Sundering Growth here. I think that none of those other cards are too exciting to me. Stealer of Secrets is actually a pretty sweet pickup. Goes well with any dramatic rescues or things like that we pick up. Pursuit of Flight is actually pretty sweet. If you just put it on like one of these guys, definitely gets in there. This card, my friend was telling me there's supposed to be an archetype where you Chronic Flooding yourself and then kill your opponent with Psychic Spirals. I don't know if it's good or not, but something to be aware of. This card I'm actually usually pretty happy to have. Here I'm just going to take a Tavern Swindler because I'm not going to play any of those other cards. Aha, see? As predicted, Chemist's Trick came back. This card's actually pretty good, and it's really nice because you can just cast it on their attack step on their turn. Potentially eat some guys. It's like an okay combat trick on its own. Like, you don't have to cast it to make them attack. It's like a reasonable, if not very good, combat trick on its own. But then, if you ever get into a point where the board is stalled out, you can just build up creatures. It acts as kind of like a poor man's teleportal. And having a way to like punch through at the end of the game is very, very important. So this is actually a pretty sweet start so far. We're going to want to pick up some good 2-drops at some point, but I'm not too worried about that just yet. So here, the only cards I would consider taking are Knightly Valor, Teleportal, or potentially Eyes in the Skies, although this, you put a 1/1 into play, you populate, it's fine, but it's not that exciting. Dryad Militant is also a good card, nice aggressive 1-drop, but it's not like, it's not insanely good or anything like that. It's just a 2/1. It's like not that much better than a Grizzly Bear at the end of the day, unless your deck is like super aggressive 2-color. Whereas we're often going to be playing a Guildgate on turn 1 anyway, I think. I'm just going to take the Teleportal. It's like not quite as good as Overrun, but it's pretty close. It's a really good way to end the game and like break through board stalls. Knightly Valor is like close to being almost as good, I think. I like that card more than most people do, but I think it's quite good. Here we have the choice between Void Wielder and Fairy Imposter. Fairy Imposter is quite good. I mean, it's sort of a cheap creature, but it's especially really good if like we don't have any of the 2/1 guy that detains a guy. Azorius Arrestor, I think is what his name is. Whereas Void Wielder is always going to be fine, but I usually like this card more in defensive decks because it's sort of just like a really big unsummon if you don't really want a Horn Turtle in your deck. So I think I'm going to take Fairy Imposter. It could be wrong. I mean, we have so many flyers that we're just going to be killing in the air, so like getting their Towering Indrik out of the way is probably going to be more important. Yeah, well, this is really close. This card is like more of a speculative pick. I think that this is a more powerful card overall than Void Wielder, but it's like pretty deck dependent. I think I'm going to take this because we're going to want some of the 2/1s that detain anyway, and we already do have the Liev Sky Knight, who's pretty good. Here, our choice is between Asperia Skywatch, Frostburn Weird, Volatile Rig, which is actually pretty good, although we do have some cheap guys, so we don't necessarily want to be sweeping the board. Asperia Skywatches were going kind of late, so I'm not too worried about picking up another one. I kind of want to just take Frostburn Weird. Like, it's a Horn Turtle when we want to... It's a Horn Turtle when we want to, block and get in the air. Or actually, no, I think we want Lobber Crew. Yeah, this card's actually sweet in our deck. Because we have a lot of multicolored spells, and it's also a Horn Turtle, but it just like deals them damage. I think this card is actually pretty good, and is going to be a little better than Frostburn Weird. I could be wrong about that. Here we go. So we have a Skyline Predator, which is something we were kind of looking to pick up. Bloodfray Giant, also really sick card. We've passed 2 of these going the other direction, which kind of sucks. But someone to our right is going to have a pretty good Rakdos deck. That's where cards like Dramatic Rescue are going to be pretty important. And like the Lobber Crew that we just picked up are all going to be pretty good. Here I'm just going to take Skyline Predator. Hopefully we wheel one of these 2 Essence Backlashes. That's a card that I usually like to have in my aggressive blue-white style decks. Here we have a second Fairy Imposter, which is still not very good. We have a Seller of Songbirds, which is actually a card that I like a lot. Inspiration is mediocre. Gorehouse Chainwalker is good, but red is looking to be a little bit more of a splash, although maybe not. I mean, we're actually mostly blue-red. We only have Dramatic Rescue and Lee of Sky Knight that have to be white. Yeah, maybe I just take this card and try to get aggressive. I don't know if it's better than this, though. This also goes well with Fairy Imposter that we already have, or we could just take another Fairy Imposter. Actually, I'm just going to do that. We'll pick up some guys that go with these, and I think they're going to end up being pretty good. Yeah, see, like we have this Void Wielder here, going to do some work. The other option is actually Goblin Electromancer. Let's see what we have in terms of... We only have... No, I mean, that guy's not going to do too much for us yet, and I think I really want the bounce spell here. All right. I guess second Void Wielder is fine. Civic Saber is not very good. It's good on a Vassal Soul. It's good on a Liev Sky Knight. I guess Civic Saber is pretty good, but I think I'd rather just have the bounce spell. Doorkeeper, also a good deck, but... Or, sorry, good card, but not necessarily quite as good in our deck. Wow. What the hell is Annihilating Fire still doing in this pack? Annihilating Fire, Thought Flare, Azorius Guildgate, all in the pack? We would like all of those cards. I mean, I think we got to take... The question is... Let's see, so... We've got like white, and then just blue and red. Well, maybe we're just going to be more Izzet splashing white. It's actually fine with me. I mean, Liev Sky Knight and Dramatic Rescue are both quite good. And, yeah, I'm going to take Annihilating Fire here. I mean, it's a removal spell. When you're in doubt, take the removal spell. Wow, Knightly Valor should pretty much never wheel. That card is so good. Pretty awesome to get that back. There's also Azorius Guildgate and Essence Backlash still in the pack, but I'm definitely going to just take Knightly Valor. I mean, this card's... I don't know if people just don't realize how sick that card is or what, but... Ooh, here Dynacharge is actually also pretty good. Help us get in. So here we're just looking for like pretty much any bears at this point. We're going to end up being pretty good. That's also way too late for an Ogre Jailbreaker to go. Also, like Aspira's Skywatch Common Bond. Also very sick cards. I actually was hoping to wheel that Dispel, but there we go. Ooh, this is actually pretty close. Essence Backlash is solid, and it's good, especially if we pick up any... Yeah, I think you got to take Essence Backlash. It's a main deckable card. It's very good. Dispel is like a card that tends to come a little bit later. All right. Traitorous Instinct is like pretty good. So we could still be like sort of a more controlling deck. I probably wish that I had something else instead of one of these Fairy Imposters. But I mean, I have 2 Void Wielders. I don't even really want a 3rd Void Wielder. So I'm glad I have that one. But the other Fairy Imposter, I don't even remember what it was supposed to be, but... What was it? Like, is it Staticaster or something? I think that was what was in the pack. I don't remember. But this is going to still end up being good. We're going to get some cheap guys. We're going to pick up some Seller of Songbirds. Want, like, probably one more piece of fixing. And other than that, we're just trying to get some good cards. We have a really good late game, so... Yeah, like I said, more Dramatic Rescues... Cheap detain guys are going to be really good. Yeah. A little worried about being able to cast this card. I mean, I don't know how red we're going to be. But red did seem very open from that side. Whereas passing the Skymark Rock did kind of hurt me. But probably, because it probably got 3rd pick Skymark Rock is just really good. Alright. Here... Well, alright, so now I have to decide whether I want a rare draft or not. Hold on one second. Alright, so all the dual lands seem to be... Blood Crypt seems to be worth like 5 tickets. It's pretty close. I think I'm just going to take it. I would really like this new... The correct pick here is New Prov Guild Mage. This card is very, very good. All the Guild Mages are really good. But in this scenario, since it's a pre-release draft, I'm going to start putting up a little article about me trying to build my Magic Online account and having you guys do that along with me. And one of the secrets is when you're in a draft that's really low EV like this one. This is just a Swiss draft. Like if it was an 8-4, I would probably just take the Arrestor because like making your deck the best is better than getting like a $5 card. But this is just a Swiss draft. So like even if I lose a match because I didn't take that, I'm still making more because it's worth more than the rewards of winning that match anyway. This is an important concept to understand. Here we're just going to take Izzet Staticaster. Actually, a much worse pinger than we've seen previously. Pingers are just not as good in this format as they have been in other formats, and that guy not being able to go to the face is actually like pretty bad. Here, ooh, this is tough. Well, we're going to take Skymark Rock. It's actually not tough. I would really like this Arrestor because I've been talking about how much I want that card, but Skymark Rock is just really too powerful to pass. In this scenario, still have no actual 1 or 2 drops. But, I mean, that's okay. Even if we get another Dramatic Rescue just to like make sure we don't fall really far behind, I think we should be okay. Frostburn Weirds I would accept. Dramatic Rescues. The Azorius Arrestor, I think, is still... Or the Izzet Staticaster, maybe, is just the way to go. I mean, I guess we don't even have to play these Imposters. We have a lot of good cards. I don't really want this Dynacharge either. A few too many, like, situational cards at this point. Just looking for creatures now. We'll just hide these 2 lands. Remember, we have them. So... Here we've got... Oh, Inaction Injunction isn't actually a bad one. Geez, that's a 3rd Augur Spree. Is Rakdos just really that open? Here I think we have to take Inaction Injunction. The card is just so good. It helps transition you towards a later game, which is kind of what we're looking for. We're not even really an aggro deck. We're more of a control deck, actually. I was thinking we would try to be a little more aggressive, but definitely just going to take Inaction Injunction here. Maybe don't play these Fairy Imposters. These guys can be very, very good. I've had good experiences with them, but yeah, just when we start out with the Vassal Souls and the Liev Sky Knight coming around, it seemed like we were going to be more aggressive, but perhaps not. Oh, here we go. Doorkeeper is like pretty sweet. We already have a Lobber Crew to kind of go with it, although, I mean, playing Doorkeeper is just, you can just play it as an 0-4 and it's fine. It's like exactly what we were looking for. I actually wouldn't mind a Hussar Patrol in this deck either, but I think having a 2-drop is much more important at this stage. Because, like, keep in mind, Teleportal and Chemist's Trick aren't really 2-drops, and Pursuit of Flight isn't either, really. Might keep that in just because it's so good on a Stealer of Secrets, but who knows. Wow. Skymark Rock. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Yep. Nothing we even want in this pack other than like Selesnya Sentry, which would be fine, but not that exciting. Yeah, probably not going to play Pursuit of Flight at this stage. So if we hide these, what are we looking at? This is actually a pretty sweet deck, I think, overall. Still wouldn't mind one piece of fixing. There was like an Izzet gate that may wheel, because we wheels an Azorius gate, and it seems like Izzet is very open. Although, perhaps it's more open from the other side than this side. I'm not really sure. Wow, Nivix Guildmage? That is nuts that card would still be there. That's really awesome. It's good with Inspiration. It's good with anything like Annihilating Fire, Dramatic Rescue even Teleportal, I guess. But, yeah, it's not like crazy good in our deck, but it's still so much better than an Action Injunction that we're just going to take it. That Foil Slaughter Games is actually pretty cool, but... Alright, so this is actually a decision. So I could take Azorius Guildgate, which would make my mana a lot better. Thing is that I already have 23 playables. I mean, I'm not super excited about, like, Inspiration, although now that I have the Guildmage, I guess that card does become slightly better. So I think that I should take Dramatic Rescue if I think I'm going to wheel Izzet Guildgate, but I should take Azorius Guildgate if I don't think I'm going to wheel it. Question is how greedy I want to get. I mean, let's just take a look at my mana here. We've got all single cost. I mean, there's no double cost other... I'm I'm just going to take the bounce spell. This card is very good, and I just want to get like maximum greedies. Yeah, having the Stealer of Secrets, having the bounce spell makes the Stealer of Secrets much better. Yeah. Selesnya Guildgate wield, but the other ones didn't. Sunspire Griffin is kind of an awkward card in this set. I'm not actually surprised to see it go this late because like you don't really want to be heavy white in your Flyers decks because you're kind of looking to be 3 colors, but like this card wants you to be heavy white, so it's like just should go a lot later in this format than others. I'm actually just going to take Paralyzing Grasp because I don't think we're going to be able to cast that card really at all. Crosstown Courier actually might make the deck, depending on what we need our curve to look like. Here, Chemister's Trick. Definitely not going to play the second one, but it's fine. Second Essence Backlash is actually something I don't mind having, though, just because... Alright, so we can take this deck in a lot of directions at this point still. We'll just have to see what it looks like. Has a lot of strong cards in it. I mean, some things were going much later than I think they should have, but who knows? So I'm just going to put in all the cards I could potentially play and then start making cuts from there. Not going to play that Dynacharge because I'd play the other Chemistry Trick over the Dynacharge probably. We're just not that aggressive. I'm not going to play this Augur Spree, even though we do have the Blood Crypt. And see how I have like 31 potential playables and also a $5 card? That's why you do this, especially in Swiss drafts, like I said. So sorry to... Alright, so I'm definitely cutting a Chemister's Trick. We'll just start there. Teleportal and is definitely a 5-mana card, so I'm just going to put it over there. Like you pretty much, except if it's going to win you the game immediately, are not really in the market. So I'm going to cut this Pursuit of Flight, I think. Yeah, Chemister's Trick is also... We'll just put it over here. Because you're not... I mean, you can cast it just as a combat trick, but it's not super exciting. Yeah, I think these Fairy Imposters are not going to make it. I don't remember what I took the second one over. It was probably a mistake. I'm going to cut 1 Essence Backlash, I think, and we still need to cut 3 cards, and you don't want to be too clogged up on instant speed stuff, especially because our only other thing to do at instant speed really is like, well, I guess we have a lot. We have Dramatic Rescues, Annihilating Fires. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So we got to cut 3 more cards. Alright, so potential cuts are like Crosstown Courier just because, yeah, I'm just going to cut that card. I think that we have the 2 Dramatic Rescues are going to make us much better against any aggressive kind of decks. And I'm probably just going to cut one of these dorky 3-drop creatures. Question is whether I want to cut like Vassal Soul or Stealer of Secrets. Stealer is actually kind of an engine in this deck because we have like Stealer into like, so you like unsummon their guy and then play a Stealer. And then they replay their guy, and then you, I don't know, like either like an action injunction it or like play Skymark Rock, and like Skymark Rock helps keep the way clear, and Stealer can draw you a lot of extra cards, or just like Stealer into, detain, fork detain, there's like just a lot of stuff you can do with that card. So I think I'm going to keep it in. I think I'm actually going to cut Vassals, maybe both Vassal Souls. I don't think they're really what the deck wants to do. And I already have 14 creatures, which is enough. And we have like good late game spells, and I just think that this guy doesn't block very well, and like attacking with Windrakes is not really what we're going to want to do. Like I think the fact that this draws a card is better than the fact that this flies, because like the fact that it draws a card helps us like make good use of our Dramatic Rescues and inaction injunctions, things like that. So yeah, so we're going to sort by color. So white is a little more of a splash. I'm just going to put, blue is clearly our main color. I think we're going to want like 8 blue sources, but that's fine because we have Izzet Guildgate and Azorius Guildgate, which are both blue, so we have 2 blue dual lands, which means that we only have to play like 6 blue sources, which means that we have 9 sources left to split between red and white. And I think we need probably 5 white sources, right? Which means that we can play these 4 And then, so that gives us 5 white sources. We could even get away with 4, but I think 5 makes me a little more comfortable. This is why, so like, you see how even like if we need to fix red more, having an Azorius Guildgate helps us fix red. Because if I had another Azorius Guildgate, I could add another mountain to the deck and be in better shape. So here we're going to be on 6 total red sources, which is a little bit light on what I would like. I mean, like, we're not going to be able to cast this Annihilating Fire till a little bit later, but that's okay, because it's just going to be a good card at any stage of the game. Having, like, 1 more Guildgate would really take the pressure off my mana, and that's why I was talking about taking the Azorius Guildgate. But I am really glad that I have this Dramatic Rescue also. That card's going to be pretty important against any of the Rakdos decks. Just, like, keeping their stuff off the table until I can, like, you know, because I can, like, unsummon and then play a 3-drop. Whatever, and then it helps me transition into like keeping their board clear with Skymark Rock and Void Wielder, and then winning the game with like Mercurial Chemister, Asperia's Skywatch, Skymark Rock, just like, and then teleportaling for the win is like, we're gonna win a lot of games with Chemister's Trick and Teleportal. I think that you will find it's actually possible that I just want something instead of this Chemister's Trick though, because as I look at it, we have like 6 things that keep the board clear with Void Wielder, Skymark Rock, and Dramatic Rescue. Like, you're going to just play Teleportal regardless because it just kind of is like an I win button, quote-unquote, which is like, I don't know, a stupid thing to say, but it is kind of true. I think I'm just going to add in 1 more Vassal Soul so I have 1 more guy. And, I mean, he helps me punch through damage anyway, so I think that's fine. I mean, I do want to have 1 effect still that gets through a board stall, but I have a lot of ways to break up board stalls, so a card like Chemister's Trick is actually less important. And yeah, so I think we're probably in good shape here. So we'll just submit and see you guys in the first round.